Good morning, my brothers and sisters. Welcome to episode 65 of season 4. I was recently on a trip and met a new friend, and the punchline of a fantastic story that he told was where opportunity meets preparation. And today, I think the lesson that Jesus has for Nicodemus falls under that category. That is, that God is knowable, for the prepared. And Jesus asks us to be ready to learn the hard stuff by learning the easy stuff. Do the first things and then get to the second things. And this ends up being a rebuke to Nicodemus. Now, rebukes are always hard to take. Now, it's not just to slam him and say you're an idiot. The point is, hey, you can do better. It's a call to a higher pay attention better. You can do better. So listen to this. So Nicodemus his mind is blown. Jesus is saying, you must be born again. Obviously, this just blows his mind. This is from John chapter 3. And Jesus says, don't marvel that I said to you, you must be born again. The wind blows where it wishes and you hear its sound, but you do not know where it comes from or where it goes. So it is with everyone who is born of the Spirit. Nicodemus says, how can these things be? And then here's the rebuke from Jesus. Jesus answered him, are you a teacher? Are you the teacher of Israel? And yet you do not understand these things? Truly, truly, I say to you, we speak of what we know and bear witness to what we have seen, but you do not receive our testimony. If I have told you earthly things and you do not believe, how can you believe if I tell you heavenly things? So here's the rebuke to Nicodemus. Are you the teacher of Israel and you don't get this stuff? It's in the Old Testament. It's in creation. It's in your soul. It's in the thoughts that I've given you. You should know. You should know better. So the rebuke here, get the character of Jesus. The rebuke is for his restoration, that he would do better. And the great news is we find out later in the Bible that Nicodemus actually does. So where opportunity meets preparation, Jesus is saying, I'm giving you the opportunity. I've already given you the opportunity to know me better, and you haven't been prepared. So this criticism fundamentally rocks who Nicodemus is. It's like saying you are foundationally incorrect or incomplete in your role as a teacher. So what are we saying? We're saying either you did something you shouldn't have. I don't think that's the case. But you didn't do something. You didn't know something that you should have. And this had to be incredibly hard for him to take. Because to teach, you should know. So I think what Jesus is saying is God is knowable, and God has previously been knowable through the Old Testament, through his choice of Israel. God is reachable, but you got to reach. And God is within arm's reach, but you got to sort of like extend your elbow. You got to cooperate. Remember, Newt Larson taught us about that in the Cooperative Life, which was season 3, episode 81, if you want to go back to it. And I think this is very similar to that God can be seen, but we got to open our eyes to what? To what has already been shown. And God can be heard, and that is if we listen for what has already been testified to, and God can be grasped if we receive what's already been given. So from an earthly standpoint, we got to know, we got to reach out, we got to open our ears. And if we don't do those things, guess what? We're going to end up with no non-belief. And so from a heavenly things, if I give you even the good stuff, the better stuff, if you're not trying, if you're not reaching, if you're not opening your eyes, if you're not opening your ears, we're going to end up with non-belief. That's what he says in verse 12. If I've told you earthly things and you don't believe, when we get to the tough stuff, how can you believe if I tell you heavenly things? This is like learning French. You got to learn, you got to put some study into objects and days of the week and numbers and pronouns, because one of these days we're going to get to conjugate verbs and it's going to be hard. It's the next phase. So to be in the kingdom, there's this blessedness of the Lord. There's a God part. He calls and he empowers and he prepares, he convicts. But I think what Jesus is referring to mostly in this little rebuke is you've got to be prepared. You've got to do the first step. You've got to open your eyes and ears and reach out your arms and have the baby faith and know the knowable and try with the things I've already previously given to you. So he's saying to Nicodemus, here's the rebuke. You have not done a particularly good job at your job. You could have been doing better, and you can do better with belief. That is, I've given you creation. I've given you days. I've given you sunrises. I've given you a fantastic body. I've given you things to marvel at. I've given you things to appreciate, the soul, your thoughts. I've given you choice. I've given you freedom. So start with the basics. Start with the earthly things, provision and sunrises and rain and people and birds singing, because I'm going to tell you some heavenly things. But you got to be ready. I'm giving you opportunity, but you've got to meet it with preparation. So, in conclusion, God is saying, I'm doing my part with opportunity, but you've got to do your part with preparation. And I think that's the challenge for us today. How are you doing with your opportunities? Well, the follow-up question is, opportunity meets with preparation. The things that God has given you already to know, how have you done with them? Probably you could do better. Probably you can do better. So let's be prepared. Let's know the knowable. Let's listen to the Spirit as he has already spoken. Let's appreciate the sunrises. Let's appreciate the people that the Lord has given us. Let's use the gifts that he's already given, because better things are going to come. And for Nicodemus, it does. So for us, for you and me, how are you doing with your opportunity? Thanks for listening.